Dead Rise, 2023, is a brutal, blood-soaked addition to the Evil Dead franchise that moves away from the traditional cabin-in-the-woods setting and instead brings the Deadite horror into an urban high-rise apartment. Directed by Lee Cronin, the film honors the gory, relentless terror of the original series while offering a fresh take on the franchise's mythology. It's a modern horror experience that stays true to the chaotic, violent, and darkly twisted spirit of Evil Dead, while also bringing its own terrifying identity. While Evil Dead Rise doesn't feature Bruce Campbell's Ash Williams, it still captures the essence of what made the original films so iconic: unrelenting horror, intense violence, and a wicked sense of humor. Instead of a lone survivor battling Deadites, this film follows a family trapped in their apartment, leading to a different but equally terrifying experience. The tone is grimmer than Sam Raimi's slapstick horror style from Evil Dead 2 or Army of Darkness, but it still embraces the relentless, nightmarish energy of The Evil Dead, 1981. There are also plenty of Easter eggs and callbacks to the original trilogy, including the return of the Necronomicon, with new grotesque illustrations. The chainsaw is used in a climactic moment, a hidden Bruce Campbell cameo. His voice can be heard on a vinyl recording. While it doesn't have the same comedic elements as Raimi's later Evil Dead films, Evil Dead Rise keeps the franchise's signature brutality and no-holds-barred horror intact. The film doesn't hold back on horror. This is one of the goriest and most intense films in the series. Unrelenting gore, from scalpings and eyeball trauma to a gruesome wood-chipper finale, the film delivers brutal, stomach-churning kills. Claustrophobic terror, the high-rise setting adds a trapped, isolated feel, much like the cabin in the original. The lack of escape makes every moment feel more intense. Body horror at its best. The Deadite possession scenes are brutal, featuring bone-cracking contortions, disfigured faces, and grotesque transformations. The possessed mother, Ellie, is one of the scariest Deadites in franchise history. Relentless pace. Once the horror begins, it never lets up, keeping the audience on edge with non-stop carnage. The film leans more into pure horror rather than horror comedy, making it feel closer to Fede Alvarez's Evil Dead, 2013, reboot rather than Evil Dead 2's slapstick chaos. Alyssa Sutherland, Ellie. As the possessed mother, she delivers a truly terrifying performance, mixing eerie playfulness with sheer brutality. Her Deadite transformation is one of the most unsettling in the franchise, making her the film's standout. Lily Sullivan, Beth. Stepping into the reluctant hero role, Beth channels the spirit of Ash Williams by taking on the Deadites with a chainsaw and sheer determination. She brings both vulnerability and toughness to the role, making her a strong final girl. Morgan Davies, Gabriel Eccles, and Nell Fisher, Ellie's kids. The young cast delivers convincing performances, especially Morgan Davies as Danny, who unknowingly unleashes the Necronomicon's evil. Their reactions feel genuine and raw, making the horror even more impactful. Unlike previous Evil Dead protagonists, this film focuses on family bonds, making the horror more emotional and personal. Watching a mother turn against her own children adds an extra layer of psychological terror. Evil Dead Rise has been well received by both longtime fans and new horror audiences. It proves that the franchise can evolve while staying true to its roots. For die-hard Evil Dead fans, it honors the franchise's legacy with over-the-top gore, intense horror, and iconic weapons like the chainsaw. For modern horror fans, it delivers high-intensity scares, making it a great entry point for those new to the series. For those expecting slapstick horror, it's more in line with the gritty brutality of Evil Dead, 2013, rather than the campy fun of Evil Dead 2. The film's claustrophobic apartment setting, terrifying performances, and unrelenting horror make it a standout in the genre. While it doesn't have Bruce Campbell's charm, it proves that the Evil Dead universe can thrive without Ash, as long as the Necronomicon keeps finding new victims. Evil Dead Rise is a brutal, terrifying, and relentlessly intense horror experience that keeps the spirit of Evil Dead alive. With fantastic performances, horrifying Deadite transformations, and gruesome kills, it cements itself as one of the strongest entries in the franchise. While it's less comedic than Raimi's classics, it delivers pure nightmare fuel that horror fans will love. If you're looking for non-stop gore, nerve-shredding tension, and some of the scariest Deadites yet, Evil Dead Rise is a must-watch.